Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Yelirious, and he is in the Moskva, a tier 10 Russian cruiser. Now, I'm very sorry if I'm mispronouncing the nickname here. Anyway, he is on the map Land of Fire in a 3-point domination game. It's, well, obviously a tier 10 battle, 4 destroyers per team, no carrier. So let's see how that goes. He is approaching the sea cap and he is holding his radar. He's detected, but yeah, he was waiting until his radar covered the whole cap, and now he's going for it. Turns out there were actually 2 destroyers in the cap, not just 1. So he's also using hydro here. Also, I mean, there are probably torpedoes incoming. And he has RPF, so I assuming this might be a Clan Wars build. Or it might just be his personal preference. Now, he's also only using a premium damage con. Personally, I would also go for a premium heal just to get the additional charge. But I can understand that if you're low on credits, you might wanna go for a cheaper build in that way. I mean, if you can afford it, you probably should use premium consumables on all of them. But it should be fine here. Now anyway, the friendly team nearly has the A cap, it looks like. There are quite a few ships over there. For some reason, nobody took the B cap. Like, both of those Bensons could have gone B, it feels like. Because right now, it doesn't seem like the enemy team is interested in this point. So, could be a free cap, if only a destroyer went there. But, you know, if nobody gets the B cap, I guess it still works. So we're getting some spotting on the Terrible here, it looks like. And that Terrible might just be eating a torp here, which would be rather convenient for the friendlies. There you go, he's down to like 200 hit points, and now he is just down. So Hydra is spotting some incoming torps. He probably is able to dodge them, which is good news. Now, unfortunately, friendly Montana here hasn't really moved yet. I'm not sure if he's just holding his position there or if he had some internet troubles or whatever. But oh, I think he's moving now. So, that's nice. Now, if that Montana would just push in here, like maybe to the same position where the Moskva is, that would be amazing. Like a frontline Montana here could make all the difference. It would keep the enemy cruisers at bay. North Carolina, it would increase the firepower around here. Now, the enemy team almost got the sea cap, but the Benson was here in time, and the Benson is now stopping the enemy from capping. There is still a little bit of time left for the radar, and hey, somebody spotted the Kagero. If they can get the Kagero, it would be pretty amazing. Well, the Kagero is making a run for it. And unfortunately, radar is not ready in time. And even worse, like instead of going forward, that Montana has actually just launched his range plane and is staying at the sea line. And that's pretty disastrous in my opinion. Like, you know, if you're in a battleship and you realize that your range is not enough, then your conclusion should be, I have to get closer, and not, hey, let's launch a range plane. I mean, you can still launch the range plane and provide fire support, but really, only because you can engage targets at like 25 kilometers doesn't mean it's a good idea. At those ranges, you won't get good hits unless you get really, really lucky. So you're much more consistent and you do much more damage if you get close. Not to mention that the Montana should actually be taking some damage. Like, the Moskva might be really tanky, but he is still only a cruiser. Well, I mean, meanwhile, no team has actually managed to take a cap, and it looks like the friendlies are a bit outnumbered at the A side. Ipa here is pushing in. I assume he just wants to take care of the Chapayev, and that's a noble goal because it opens up the cap for the Benson. The Chapayev is the biggest threat here for the friendlies right now. Hippa goes down, but I mean a Chapayev should go down as well. Now there is still a Sao and a North Carolina around, and obviously the Kagero. Now Raider is ready again, but it looks like the Kagero is fleeing and nobody has shots. It's entirely possible that the Kagero decided to just take B right now, because let's face it, it's a free cap. It's just that no destroyer has found the time yet to go there, it looks like. So friendly Benson is trying to engage the Kagero. He's taking a bit of a beating here though. Now Yelirious can't just sit here and continue to provide fire support. With the Benson taking the cap, he doesn't have to get in here. The Montana is facing the wrong way once more because... I don't know. Like, I really don't know what happens in some people's minds sometimes. And there are some torpedoes coming towards the Benson smoke. The Benson should have left it. Let's be honest, like, if he would have been outside of his smoke, he would have been safe from the torps, and he could have provided some spotting, and there would have been no risk to himself. I assume he used the smoke because he was shooting the Kagero and got spotted, but he should have just left immediately afterwards. I mean, not that I haven't made mistakes and run into torps myself. But it's always something to keep in mind. As soon as you deploy a smoke screen, people are going to launch torpedoes in it if they are in range. And then there was the fact that he couldn't actually do anything from it because he was no longer providing spotting and nobody else was. But be that as it may, we have now a Sao pushing in, and that's going to be tricky. Now if that Sao is... then there are some torps incoming. Is he dodging this one? I hope so. Yeah, nice. So, the Sao might still have torpedoes left on one side, but if the Sao shows that much broadside, then he can probably just blab the Sao with armor piercing. You know what would be immensely useful here? Having like a Montana close by, who could just absolutely obliterate this Sao. But you know, unfortunately that's not happening. Speaking of Montanas, on the other side of the map there is actually a pretty aggressive one pushing in. Not sure how this will work out. So is the Sao turning here for torps? He is. Actually the Sao might just try to go for the ram. I mean right now it's looking amazing for the enemy team, so the Sao would be totally justified in just trying a ram here. Question is, will he manage? Guns are almost reloaded and... oh. Denied. So RPF pointing this way, probably tracking the Kagero, so we know the Kagero is closer than like 13.4 kilometers. Not really the most useful information, I suppose, because we still don't know how close he is. So, well, I mean, I guess we know that the Kagero didn't just go for A. So the Kagero is still lingering around. Question is exactly where.
All stations, proceed to capture that area.
You know we should capture that area, Montana. Like, this Montana should be inside the sea cap right now. There is really no excuse for what he is doing. Honestly, the enemy North Carolina could have also just been more aggressive. Like, if that North Carolina had backed up the Sao push, then Yelirious would probably be down by now. So, the enemy team, like, has one cap by now. And the enemy team has more ships, so it's looking pretty bad. The friendlies really have to try to take C, but how can Yelirious cap C if there is a North Carolina issue? Oh my god, there is a Kagero. So turns out the Kagero was closer than expected. He could have, of course, hydroed before he went forward, just as a precaution. But I guess he wanted to save his hydro. Now, he only took one torp, and he is still floating. The Kagero won't escape here. I mean... even if the Kagero would smoke or something, he would have still had radar as a backup. So that's nice. Now there is the North Carolina to deal with. And considering Yelirious' health, also I mean he just used his last heal. A plot twist, the North Carolina is shooting high explosive and missing. So both pretty good news, which means he might actually be able to cap this thing. It's amazing. Now on the other hand we only have the Sao and the Shimakaze remaining against quite a bunch of enemies. I'm not sure what they can do. I mean the Shimakaze is currently providing spotting for the Sao and probably running interference against the gearing. The Shimakaze could actually try to take the B cap, but that would mean he had to abandon the Sao. Considering the points though, it's something that the Shimakaze could consider. On the other hand, if the Shimakaze gets torpedoes into the Montana or something, that would also be really helpful. Now the North Carolina here is trying to escape, but that won't happen. I mean there is no way he is dropping into concealment. Well, I guess he might if he can actually sink the Moskva. So North Carolina should be down soon, and afterwards they can hopefully take the B cap, maybe get some flanking shots at the guys in A. We'll see. Oh, the North Carolina is healing. That's bad. Now the friendly team is not that pressed for time, like, because nobody held a cap for so long, despite the enemy's lead, it's not really that big of a lead points-wise. And when they sink the North Carolina, the friendlies might actually be ahead in ships. This North Carolina is hanging on there for his life. But it wasn't enough. There is the Kraken Unleashed. There is an Arsonist. Nicely done. Also, interestingly enough, RPF is pointing this way. So we know where the cruisers are, which means he is tracking gearing. Now it's possible that the gearing is trying to take the C cap. If the friend is just abandon this here and charge B, then the gearing can sneak in. Like, the enemy team still has the points advantage. If the gearing can grab C and the friendlies don't manage to take another cap, this might be troublesome. Also, I mean, the gearing could potentially, I don't know, sink the Montana or something with torps. Full health Montana. Not a single hit point lost. Well, I guess it would be more realistic that he sinks the Moskva. Then again, maybe not. I think that Moskva is a lot better at dodging torps than the Montana. Anyway. So, I really feel like the Shimakaze should try to get the B cap, but I guess the Shimakaze is concerning himself with spotting the cruisers. He doesn't want the cruisers to escape. I don't know how well the Sao does. If the Sao is still reasonably healthy, and nice hit against the Hindenburg from someone. Probably a torpedo here. So yeah, they should now be able to sink the Hindenburg. I'm not sure, did the Montana clear the island? It has, you know, that's an awful lot of high explosive shells coming from that direction. Is that Montana actually shooting high explosive at the Hindenburg? I mean, why would I even be surprised? Now, he is aware of his RPF here, and he saw that the cap was being flipped, so immediately he is using radar. And yeah, that gearing is done for. The remaining question is, of course, did the gearing get torps off? Should have gotten torps off, but it looks like he can dodge those torps. Which is pretty nice. And yeah, actually only one Hindenburg is remaining, and there is no way for the enemy team to actually come back from this. And so we jumped ahead a little bit because there was nothing happening in between. Like, I mean, the friendlies capped the entire map. They found the last Hindenburg. The Hindenburg is running for it, but it's like 1 second left. The Hindenburg is not turning this one around. Even though, like, if he got a torpedo hit at the Sao, the friendly lead is too big at this point. And of course, the most important question that we can ask ourselves, did that Montana take a single point of damage so far? Nope. So yeah, 7 seconds left. I think that Hindenburg will survive, and this will be a win. And here we are with the results. Yelirious earned himself 2,608 base experience. Very nicely done. He had to do a lot of heavy lifting on his flank. And it looks like his Sao had to do a lot of work on the other flank as well. Well, I guess the Shima also performed pretty good. Now, Yelirious also earned himself an Arsonist, a Dreadnought and a Kraken, scoring 130,000 points of damage. So yeah, pretty nice battle. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you guys next time.